Barge hits whale near Gulf. Sends oil, gas, spearing into the air. Oil pipeline leak pollutes major Michigan river. Massive Chinese oil spill last week covers over 165 square miles. And all these are on top of the BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, which was the worst in the United States history. A barge slammed into an abandoned whale in a coastal inlet early Tuesday, sending a shower of water, natural gas, and oil spewing at least 100 feet into the air. Emergency officials said some 6,000 feet of containment boom was in place around the site in a lake just north of Barataria Bay, which has already been fouled by oil from the massive BP spill in the Gulf of Mexico. While there was no estimate of how much oil was spewing Tuesday, officials said there was at least a mile-long oil slick. The Coast Guard said a towboat was pushing a barge on Mud Lake when it hit the wellhead about 1 a.m. The towboat captain told investigators the whale was not lit as required. The Coast Guard hired Wild Whale Control Incorporated to begin attempts to cap the whale later Tuesday. Another contractor is handling cleanup. The accident, which blocked traffic into Barataria Bay, would not stop attempts by cleanup crews to return to the Gulf after a weekend interruption from the remnants of Tropical Storm Bonnie. Mud Lake is at the northern approaches to Barataria Bay, an ecologically sensitive wetlands. Crews were working on Tuesday to contain and clean up more than 800,000 gallons of oil that poured into a creek and flowed into the Kalamazoo River in southern Michigan, coating birds and fish. Authorities in Battle Creek and Emmett Township warned residents about the strong odor from the oil, which leaked Monday from a 30-inch pipeline built in 1969 that carries approximately 8 million gallons of oil per day. Crews waded in oily water as they worked to stop the oil's advance downstream. Oil-covered Canadian geese walked along the banks of the Kalamazoo River, and photos show dead fish floating in the spill. The Kalamazoo River eventually flows into Lake Michigan, but officials said, hopefully, they didn't expect the oil to reach the lake. This is just a disaster, said Raymond Woodman, 33, of Emmett Township, who watched workers use a vacuum truck to clean oil from the water. It shouldn't matter how much it costs to clean this up. They just need to clean it up now. Calgary, Alberta-based Enbridge Incorporated's affiliate Enbridge Energy Partners LP of Houston estimated approximately 819,000 gallons of oil had spilled. "We are going to do what it takes to make this right," said Enbridge's president and CEO, Patrick D. Daniel. The company had begun testing the air near the spill, with the primary concern being the possible presence of the cancer-causing chemical benzene. On Tuesday, the company said it hadn't found any levels yet that would be of concern in residential areas. Groundwater testing also was planned. Authorities evacuated at least 2 homes near the lake, and some locals said they were concerned about the fumes. But so far, there were no reports of sickened residents. As of Tuesday afternoon, oil was reported in some 16 miles of the Kalamazoo River downstream of the spill, said a spokeswoman for the Michigan Department of Natural Resources and Environment. She said state officials were told during a company briefing that an estimated 877,000 gallons had spilled, a figure more than 50,000 gallons higher than the company's public estimate. The company was originally slow to respond, and it is now clear that this is an emergency. President Obama has pledged a swift response to requests for assistance, said a White House spokesman. The cause of the oil spill was still under investigation. The site is in Calhoun County's Marshall Township, some 60 miles southeast of Grand Rapids, Michigan. The governor activated the State Emergency Operations Center. Our focus is protecting Michigan citizens and our environment by providing any needed state resources to address the situation, the governor said. Enbridge said it had about 200 employees and contractors working on the oil spill. Local, state, and federal agencies also were involved, and the National Transportation Safety Board launched an investigation. The pipeline was shut down Monday, and isolation valves were closed, stopping the source of the oil, the company said. The Kalamazoo River eventually bisects the city of Kalamazoo and eventually empties into Lake Michigan. The river already faces major pollution issues. An 80-mile segment of the river and 5 miles of a tributary, Portage Creek, were placed on the federal Superfund list of high-priority hazardous waste sites in 1990. The Kalamazoo site also includes 4 landfills and several former paper mills. The Michigan Department of Community Health warned the public to stay away from the creek and river during the cleanup. It also said people shouldn't eat fish from the waterways or have any contact with the water, and farmers and homeowners who use the water for irrigation or livestock should stop. And again, all these oil spills, on top of all the oil spills that's happened recently, including the one in China and the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, which was the biggest in U.S. history, and which is still leaking a little bit from the sea surface or the bottom of the ocean around the BOP. So then, yes, all these are connected. They are related in some kind of way. There is a physical and there is a spiritual. A physical world and a spiritual world. They are intertwined together, like side by side. And again, these are more signs of the end times, transition days, which is a huge process going on all around the world. In other words, everything that must change quickly or rapidly, and for the better, because it's about what kind of world are we leaving to the future generations, the children to come. Revelation chapter 8, verse 8. And the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became as blood. Revelation chapter 16, verse 3. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man. And every living soul died in the sea. 4. The third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters. And they became as blood. 5. And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O Lord, which are, and was, and shall be, because thou hast judged thus. 6. For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. 7. And I heard another out of the altar say, Even so, Lord God Almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments. Yes, all these are more signs happening daily all around the world.